Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, September 4, 2017 at 10:43 p.m. Birmingham, and wonder what the topic is. Yeah, you guessed it, chemtrails. Let me tell you something about chemtrails, what I think that some people, maybe it's the dark government, I don't know, but what they're trying to replicate is the same technology that the Nephilim had back when they fell from grace, the fallen angels, where they fell from heaven or came from heaven on their own, came down, 200 of them by name, and took the daughters of men and mated with them and their offspring. These were the giants in those days. Well, they traded technology to man in those days for their wives. So man made things. They built things. They're called hybrids in many cases. They're called many other names. But they mixed. They were taught the art of mixing through DNA. Well, I'm getting off the subject just a little bit, but to tell you where they were back then, take all the pyramids on this globe. They weren't just in Egypt. They were around this globe in every country. And what they use them for? Well, the best that people can tell that research and try and study it is by the noise and the frequency that they can sometimes pick up from some of those that are in Peru in the mountains. Well, if you have a grid work around this planet and you have these giant pyramids, it's like an electrical grid. They can communicate, they can ride, they can fly, they can move on these things. They can move heavy objects like rock, like 200-ton and 2,000-ton blocks of rock. Move them and place them like marshmallows or clay. Well, that was destroyed by God because there was sin in that day, great sin, that not one person on this planet had not been touched by it except one. Noah was saved. He and his family were saved out of it. And then what it take to destroy all those beings, the giants and their offspring, what it take to destroy them and their grid work, it took water. It's like shorting out an electrical system. Well, today, take these chemtrails that you see, and then take these HAARP that you see, like the one in Alaska and the one in South America, and they have a grid work of HAARP around this planet, and they're again using perhaps chemtrails in such a way as to transmit and to move things about by. Maybe they're affected by, or maybe they do something to what's just under the ground. Well, there's a natural remedy, some people say, to this. It's called a cloud buster. And I'm going to tell you what it is. I know it sounds crazy, but all you got to do is look it up for yourself. Orgon, O-R-G-O-N. If you make some small, like muffin size, and place it by a water supply that's coming into your home, it aerates the water and it removes particles that's been put in it by the city, fluoride and things like that. It removes bacteria and some viruses from water. Orgonite. This is what it's called, O-R-G-O-N-I-T-E. You make one big enough, stand it up in your backyard, and it's a cloud buster. This thing will point straight up and blow a hole through a cloud that's over your house. Don't take my word for it. Go on the internet and find it. How do you make an orgonite? Use quartz crystal. Large pieces in a 2 or 3 gallon bucket. Stand upright and mixed in with it at least 4 kinds of metal. Silver. Take this real thin gold lettering stuff that you can buy at a Michael's or someplace like that, or Hobby Lobby. Roll it up. I mean, look, that stuff, you can buy 1,000 sheets and it still won't weigh a quarter of an ounce. but it's still metal. Take copper, silver, metal, any kind of wire, stainless steel. Mix it in with the Orgonite, which is a compound that hardens. It's like a polyurethane. Stand up in it. 4 copper, 6 foot long, hollow copper, the same copper that runs the water throughout your house. Stand them up in it. Let them lean slightly outward. See what happens above your house. Well, I'm just saying again, you can go on the internet and look at it and find it. Orgonite, Orgonite, and it's used by quartz crystal, is the #1 ingredient mixed with 4 kinds of metal. If it works underground, and if it worked above ground 5,000 years ago, then it should work today. When you think, look it up. Jody Wolf Expoz.